It doesn't matter at this point. It's about to be over. So, well, it'll be USC. USC would have made the Big Ten West look a lot better.
That is true, Matt Green. That is true. Who overachieved in the Big Ten East last year for you? Are you about to piss off a bunch of Michigan fans, Matt Green?
That's what I was kind of leaning towards Michigan. It was hard for me to say anyone overachieved. Like Maryland maybe, but it's like you look at Maryland's schedule and it's like that doesn't really scream overachieving by any means. It's like they went about 8-5. Like I don't think most people would have predicted them to be the fourth best team in the East last year. Like so it was a good season, but you go through their schedule and I was trying to pull it up. I had it here a second ago. Like you almost beat Michigan. Like is that kind of the highlight? You didn't really have any big wins. Like they played Ohio State tough, but like you lost to Wisconsin, you lost to Michigan, you lost to Penn State, lost to Purdue, like a close game. It's like it was hard to say they overachieved. It was hard to pick anyone. So I almost want to go Michigan because I'm not sure they were as good defensively as they were a year ago. But J.J. McCarthy, I think, was an upgrade from McNamara, but I think the schedule was just so weak. Like they blew out Penn State, and it was a close game, but they ended up blowing out Ohio State. So the two teams they played, they absolutely came to play and they balled out. But I think I don't feel like this was a true like undefeated like college football playoff team like they were. I think the schedule was just pretty soft this year, and it's not to disrespect Michigan. I don't think they were necessarily as good as they were in 2021, and their weaknesses were never really shown. And not even TCU. It was just the pick sixes kind of elevated TCU's performance in that game. But I don't know. I would probably have to say Michigan if I picked somebody, but I feel like everyone kind of appropriately achieved.
I would agree. It's definitely not Ohio State. It's not Penn State. Definitely not Rutgers or Indiana. Maryland, I think they were about right where the defense sucked. And Mike Locksley in this offense with Baby Tua was good. Like, that was it. Like, I'm not surprised they were a top 40 offense in college football this past year. I'm not surprised that they were able to move the ball a lot. I'm not surprised they were good at home. Like, I'm not surprised they were bad on the road. Like, I didn't like 8-4 feels like kind of where they should be most years. I think with how well they're able to recruit, Mike Locksley's done a really good job there. There's a lot of talent in the DMV, and they've had great offenses. Like he's a great offensive mind, and that should be kind of their niche. Like I don't think they're going to be a consistent 10-win team. Like I just don't think that's fair expectations for Maryland football. But I think Michigan being undefeated, just blowing out Ohio State and winning back-to-back, not missing a beat, because I think one of the things that people forgot, lost both coordinators, Matt Green. Like you wondered, okay, did Jim Harbaugh have his moment and he should have just taken those NFL jobs that he had a lot of interest in, and this may have been a mistake. J.J. McCarthy, huge unknown, K. McNamara out the door, old reliable. And it was like, nope. He's gonna flex a little bit. He's gonna throw Cade McNamara out one week, and then he's gonna do JJ McCarthy the next week. He's gonna juggle that. Like that's a normal thing. Is you're just gonna go back and forth week over week until you're settled on it. Blake Corum was a Heisman type running back for the majority of the season until he goes down. They had a top 10 defense, a top 10 offense, like FEI on both sides. Like I just went through so many different numbers with them where I'm like, you lost Aiden Hutchinson, you lost so many dudes. You lost so many coordinators. You had all this turnover, and you beat Ohio State, and you were like, all right, you did it. That was your one shot. You got blown up by Georgia in the CFP. Like, all right. That wasn't the case. Like, Michigan just got better than they were a year ago. You can make the case they were a better football team this year than they were last year, and it sucks that Blake got hurt in that Illinois game, and I would have liked to see how that game goes against TCU late if Blake Corum is playing. But, like, I'm not trying to be insulting by saying they overachieved. I thought they were going to be a 10-2 type team, I think, before the year. It's just, I didn't think that they actually had a realistic shot at winning the national title if things go like if Ohio State beats Georgia in that moment, and they don't choke that game away. You get Ohio State, Michigan in a rematch with a healthy Blake Corum. Like, are they national champions?
Who choked what away? What are we talking about?
I mean, they missed a bad field goal. We can go back. Like Ohio State, that was a rough fourth quarter. Like it was rough. But either way, even if you don't want to say choked away, they were in a position to win that football game.
Yeah,
like they were in a position to win it late. That's what I'll say. And if they do, and Michigan has Blake Corum, they take care of business against TCU, they'd probably be favored in a rematch against Ohio State. You've already seen it. And then we're looking at a Michigan. I'm not trying to do full-on fan fiction here, but what I am saying is there was a realistic scenario where Michigan was your national champion this past year, and I did not see that coming. So I think they overachieved in a major way for me. And I don't think that's a slight. I just think to do what they did this year after what happened last year and do it back-to-back and just show we are a dominant, perennial CFP contender year over year, I think was a big deal.
Yeah, and that's kind of exactly where I was coming from with it. Like, I don't think it's disrespectful to say they overachieved. Like, maybe you could take it that way because people still aren't expecting us to do whatever. But it's like, no, they're not. Ohio State had more like, say what you want about the what do you love to call it? The blue chip ratio.
Yes.
The composite talent rankings and all that. Like, say what you want about that, but Ohio State, we know the kind of NFL, the top-end talent that Ohio State has year in and year out, and so you tend to think they're better than Michigan. And so 2 years in a row now, Michigan has proved people wrong, but it still felt surprising, and that's why it was, it's not disrespectful, but for them to get to the playoff, I think it was, more than I was expecting to start the year.
For sure. Who underachieved?
The one pick that Desmond Howard got right in his awful preseason college football prediction. Do you remember his preseason college football playoff?
I think he had A&M, Michigan,
and Pittsburgh Houston? Was in there. I know it. A&M, Pittsburgh. I can't remember the last one, and Michigan, but it was bad. But yeah, what were you about to say? Keep going.
I think he actually picked Pittsburgh, and then that first week he picked Tennessee to beat Pittsburgh. I'm pretty certain that's what it kind of cracked me up. But I love Desmond Howard. Underachieved the most. Are you about to piss off Ohio State fans? And I don't think this would actually piss them off. I
think there's only one answer. It's Ohio State. They know what their program is. It's national championship. It's the very least Big Ten championship. The Big Ten. But he did so